Hello guys, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to build on our last lesson. This time we're going to use the concatenate function, or as the new version is called, concat. So the two versions of the name, but they're the same function. So the older versions, you would hear concatenate, and the new version, you will hear concat. Let's see what that function does. Equals concat. And as you can see here, there's a caution sign by the concatenate. That's Excel's way of saying don't use that anymore. Let's use the newer version. It says it concatenates a list or range of text strings. In other words, it puts them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our if function, our exact function as we did in the other video. And as a result, we're going to concatenate these text strings that we have here to create a really cool way of giving our students their marks and also building their very own email address. So let's see what that looks like. Equals if. We're going to put the exact function right here, and that's going to help us determine if in fact the teacher can proceed. So we're going to compare these two text strings, what the teacher provided and what it should actually be, the proper case of the name. We're going to close our parentheses right here. So we're out of our exact function. Our next argument in the if function, we're back in the if function, is if this is true, if both of these text strings are the exact same, what do you want me to do? I'm going to tell Excel I want you to concat the person's name, put a space, we're going to put a space in our inverted commas, and I want you to put that together with the child's marks. Yeah? So let's just see what that looks like. So for Smith, his mark was 61. He's Smith 61. It's nice. It's cool, isn't it? Really cool is to give your students their marks, but we're going to take a step further. And if I wanted to, I could remove the space so that Smith 61 sits side by side. How you would do that is simply remove the space between the inverted commas and Smith 61 would sit directly next to. Okay? But we're going to put that back because I like to see the space. All right. And now we're going to build on that and give them their very own email address. So we're going to hit F2 and we're going to continue building. So after we have the space and we put the person's marks, we're going to say and that's represented by the ampersand sign. We're going to say and, let's go with at gmail.com. Or instead, let's go jj.edu. And we're putting that in inverted commas. Yes? All right, we're going to close that parentheses. And why are we closing that parentheses? Because that is in the concat function. Remember, it's asking if it's true, what do you want me to do? And we ran a function. So we open the parentheses and we must close one. All right. So now we're going to use our comma separator. We're in our if function. Here's the last argument. If this is not the case, if they're not exact and I don't have permission to build this email address, what do you want me to do? I want to send a message to the teacher and tell them to correct the name. So correct name. I'm going to close the parentheses. All right, so let's read this. If what my logical test is I'm asking if B5 and D5 are exactly the same text string. If that is the case, then I want you to put together the child's name, leave a space, put their mark, and tag at jj.edu. But if they're not the same thing, you don't have permission to build the email address. Instead, I want you to tell the teacher, correct the name. Okay, we're going to lock that in. And because Smith and Smith is the same, they're able to bill Smith 61. You know what? Instead of leaving that space, let's put on the score. Yeah, looks more realistic. So we've got Smith underscore 61 at jj.edu. We're going to use our fill handle, double click, and in instances where they're the same, the child gets their mark and a really cool email address. For persons who see this, it only looks like an email address, but the child was able to get their mark, whether good or bad, without feeling like they're inadequate. But the teacher also gets their message to correct the name, where they themselves didn't do what they were supposed to do. So that's just a really cool way to use the if function with the concat function. Again, we're using the exact function just to check our text strings. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.